you may be aware, the big news about the immigration law is 457 visas, which was announced a few days ago. To keep us updated, it's with great pleasure I'd like to introduce accredited immigration lawyer, Mr. Susantha Katugampola, in our studios this morning. Good morning and welcome to our program.
Good morning, Derek.
Ibon. Susantha, now this 457 is the topic at the moment. Will you be able to brief and tell our viewers what's that all about?
Yes, it made the biggest news in Australian media on last Tuesday, just after Easter. The news about immigration changes has come out from the Australian Prime Minister. I have been living here for over 26 years, and this is the first time that I've seen that the Prime Minister is talking to the Australian media about immigration in big way. So this is a big change, but we don't see this as a surprise, because we take the pride of educating our viewers about these changes over the years and months, and we educated you about the changes that happen and changes that's going to happen. We said that things will be tougher and tighten, and the 457 visa process is going to be hard. So the news came as 457 visa has been abolished. But the news is that the reality is that it is not abolished today. It is not abolished yesterday, and but it will be abolished eventually on 8th of March 2018, when the government is going to introduce 2 different visa subclasses to replace 457. And in interim, the government had cut a certain number of occupations, 216 occupations from the skill occupation list that is applicable for 457. That means 216 occupations will not be able to apply for 457, also permanent residents under employer nomination criteria after 19th of April, and that's a big change. But yet now the 200 odd occupations can apply for their 457s today and tomorrow until the changes happen.
Okay. Now you told me until the, correct me if I'm wrong, Susantha, I was under the impression it will be from the 1st of July from this year.
1st of July, some changes are coming.
Okay.
But that is not the new visa subclasses. So the replacement visa subclasses for 457 will not come into effect from 1st of July. It will come into effect from 8th of March 2018.
18? Okay.
18, next year.
Right. Okay.
Because you cannot change this overnight. But certainly the change was imminent, and it is preempted. But unfortunately, the change is politically driven. That's why we say that's in the Australian media, especially the abolishment of 457. It's a big news for voters, and certainly majority of people may like that news. So therefore, we think that it is a politically motivated, politically driven media release, and but technically the 457 visa still does exist for these applicable correct occupations, common occupations that our communities use. Can be an accountant, engineer, chef, cook, hairdresser, they still remain. So 457 option hasn't gone away from these occupations. That is a good news. But unfortunately, 216 occupations have been removed. If someone is on a 457 visa today, and they are intending to apply for their permanent residence after 2 years, after completing 2 years, and if they fall into one of these removed occupations, then they have bad news. That's quite unfortunate. And that's the major change happened on the 19th of April.
Okay. Again, another question about I was under the impression any pending applicants, they are okay. I thought it was the newcomers who are trying to apply. So as you said, this is news to me.
Absolutely. If you got a 457 application lodged under occupation list that did exist,
Yeah.
then your application is okay. But certainly the changes does affect people who have got the 457 visas already, and they obtain their visa and they intend to apply for their permanent residence pathway. And if the occupation's gone away from the list, certainly that's a problem for those applicants. So that's bad news. But generally people who already made the applications are okay. But generally the government's view is that the 457 or similar visa class, and that might be called that visa for skill shortages, and that visa should not give any guarantee for permanent residence.
Okay.
So right now someone gets 457 and in 2 years there's some sort of assurance that they can obtain the permanent residence. So the government want to remove that assurance, and if you want to qualify for permanent residence, then you got to meet this different criteria, and it is not it cannot be that straightforward from 457 to permanent residence pathway, and they're removing that in this new legislative framework, and that's an unfortunate change for certain applicants. But generally what the government missed out here is that yet it's not easy to obtain a temporary visa for someone.
Yeah.
So you can probably not have permanent residence, but if you want to do a business in Australia, if you want to work for your own business, you can't really obtain a temporary visa, work visa. So there are restrictions which is available in Singapore or Japan or Dubai or any other country, an economically driven, economic growth country would have that option. But unfortunately, we are not opening for business, and some people made comments that, are we closing for business? So that's bad news.
Okay. Susantha, I must really thank you, because there's so much of confusion where, when the Prime Minister came on the commercial TV and announced that the 457 was abolished, and it was very nice for you to not frighten our viewers who have got the 457. Some are safe, some unfortunately, as you said, it's going to be bad news. Is there any other news you want to share with us, Susantha?
Basically the 457 process and also permanent residence process, Australian immigration rules overall becoming tightened. So therefore it's very important for every applicant to seek proper, accurate professional advice, and then they know exactly where they stand. That's important for your future. So we wish you a bright future, and get proper advice, and you can still obtain your visa successfully.
Okay. Thank you very much, Susantha. Again, giving your valuable time to our viewers and us, and giving us the news about 457 visa. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Derek, and thank you, Sri Lanka Morning Show. Aibuan.